Namaste and good evening to all of you. Welcome to second round of online classes. So far in this lesson of electricity, we have learnt many basic important physical quantities. Let us have a quick revision of what we have learnt in the previous week, and we'll take today's concept and we'll continue further. So first, in the first class, we have learned what is electric current. What is electric current? The amount of electric charge passing a unit cross-sectional area of a conductor in unit time. So that is the definition of electric current. What is its mathematical expression? I is equal to Q divided by T, where Q denotes the charge and T denotes the time. So how to define 1 ampere of electric current? The current through a conductor is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge passing a unit cross-sectional area of a conductor in 1 second. What is the SI unit of charge? It is coulomb. So next, what we have learned is we took some problems on electric current and electric charge we solved. So what is the formula to find the total charge passing through the conductor? That is Q is equal to N into E, where N is the number of electrons and E is the value of charge on the electron, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Next, we used a device called ammeter to measure the electric current, and we connect this ammeter in the circuit in series. How to connect the ammeter in the circuit? In series. So end-to-end connection. And this is the schematic diagram of the electric circuit. Here bulb, ammeter, key and battery are connected. And we have learned two smaller quantities of electric current. One is 1 milliampere, another one is 1 microampere. Next, we learned the conventional direction of electric current. Conventional direction of electric current is always from positive terminal of the battery or cell to the negative terminal of the battery. Then what is the direction of flow of electrons through the circuit? It is from negative terminal of the battery to the positive terminal of the battery. The next question we have learned, that is answer for the question, is what causes the flow of electrons through the circuit? What causes the flow of electrons through the circuit? It is the potential difference. Potential difference. So at the negative terminal of the battery, there is abundance of electrons. That region is called the greater electric potential region. And at the positive terminal of the battery, there is a deficit of electrons. So electrons are not there. That is a region of lesser electric potential. When this potential difference, electric potential difference is maintained between the negative and positive terminal, electrons start flowing through the external circuit. So that makes the electrons to flow. Fine. So what is the device which maintains the potential difference in the circuit? Battery or electric cell. Okay, then we learned the next concept. What we learned is, okay, the battery or cell is maintaining the potential difference by transferring the electron, which is coming to the positive terminal to the back to the negative terminal. So to transfer this electron from positive to negative terminal, the battery or cell has to do work on the electron. So because there is a electrostatic force of repulsion between the like charges, so the battery or cell has to push this electron against this force of repulsion. So the battery has to do work. So you know very well, to do work energy is required. Now, from where the energy is supplied to the battery. So inside the battery or cell, chemicals are stored. So chemicals gives the chemical energy and chemical reaction takes place. And finally, the chemical energy converts into electrical energy. Fine. Next, what we have defined is the electric potential. It's a very important question again. So electric potential at a point in an electric field is defined as the amount of work done to move a unit charge from infinity to that point against the field. So that is the definition of electric potential. Then what is the mathematical expression for electric potential? It is equal to, that is V is equal to work done divided by charge. V is equal to W by Q. Then one more concept, a very important concept we learned, that is what is potential difference. The potential difference between any 2 points in an electric field is defined as the amount of work done to move a unit charge from one point to another point against the field direction. So that is the definition of potential difference. Then what is the mathematical expression for potential difference? See, here we have a mathematical expression. VA minus VB is equal to WA minus WB divided by Q. This expression we use to calculate the potential difference whenever the work done to move the charge from infinity to one point, again from infinity to another point are given in the problem. So depending on the situation, we use the equation for potential difference. For potential difference, we have two equations. This is one equation and this is another equation. So potential difference is equal to work done divided by charge. Fine. Then what is the SI unit of electric potential or potential difference? So the SI unit of potential difference is volt. Alessandro Volta is the name of the scientist. Similarly, Ampere is the name of the scientist. So volt is the SI unit of potential difference, or volt can be written as joule per coulomb. You know why it is joule per coulomb? Okay, next, define 1 volt of potential difference. So potential difference between any 2 points in an electric field is said to be 1 volt if 1 joule of work is done to move 1 coulomb of charge from one point to another point against the electric field. So all of you have already mastered defining 1 unit of a physical quantity because we have done many times. Okay, then we solved many different types of numericals and we worked out a worksheet also, and most of you have sent also. This is what we have learned in the previous week. It's a fast recall. Then today's topics. Today what we are going to learn? Voltmeter. It is a device we use to measure the potential difference and its connection in an electric circuit. How this voltmeter is connected in the circuit to measure the potential difference. Like ammeter is connected always in series. So how we are going to connect this voltmeter? So that is what we are going to study. The second thing is symbols of some commonly used components in circuit diagram. So most of the components already you have seen in the circuit diagram. Few more are there. So we are going to study those symbols. Then Ohm's law, very important law. Last year you have learned many laws like Newton's first law, second law, third law, then law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of momentum. So many laws we learned last year. So this year, this is the first law we are coming across. So fine. We'll take the first one, voltmeter and its connection in an electric circuit. You can see the voltmeter image here, and it's a DC voltmeter. It's a DC voltmeter because we use two types of current, direct current and alternating current. In laboratory, we use always direct current. So your DC voltmeter, you can see DC voltmeter. How can you identify this voltmeter is a DC voltmeter? See, in this device, there is a letter V. Below this letter, there is a straight line. This straight line indicates it is a DC voltmeter. Again, there are two terminals for this voltmeter for connection. The red one represent positive, the black one represent negative. There is a pointer here. Okay. So it shows the reading. And there is a scale here 0 to 10. Its capacity is 10 volts. Fine. So here we have AC voltmeter. We are not going to use this AC voltmeter in our laboratory. You can see the capacity of this 0 to 500 volts. So this normally we use this voltmeter in electric meter board used to lift the water from the underground, that is borewell pump sets. There the voltage required is much more, that is more than 200 volts. It will go up to 400. So there we use this AC voltmeter. So normally we indicate AC through a symbol here. So you can see wave. Okay. So that wave, fluctuating, voltage is fluctuate like wave. So that is the symbol. Fine. This is the pointer again. So next we'll see the connection of voltmeter in an electric circuit. See this circuit diagram. So this is series connection. The battery is connected to the bulb is connected to the ammeter is connected to the key. Again, key is connected back to the negative. This is series, connected one after the other. Here voltmeter is connected in parallel. See, these are parallel lines. Parallel. What do you mean by parallel connection? Series connection means connecting end to end. End of one component is connected to the end of the other component, and it will go like this. But in parallel, what happens? The two components, or you can take another component, 3 components, 4 components, any number of components can be connected in parallel. Here we have two components are connected between the same 2 common points. See the end of the bulb and the end of the voltmeter connected to the same point. Another end of the voltmeter, another end of the bulb connected to the same point. So this connection is called parallel connection. Fine. Here you can see electric circuit. This is circuit diagram and this is electric circuit. What is the difference between circuit and circuit diagram? In circuit diagram, we used symbols of components, electric components. In electric circuit, we used the images of the components. Okay. Fine. Here, one more circuit diagram. The difference is here bulb is connected, here some resistor is connected. See, this is the symbol of resistor. Even the filament of the bulb has some resistance. Fine. There is no difference between these two. Next concept is symbols of some commonly used components in circuit diagram. See, Already we have come across many of these components and their symbols. So an electric cell, this is the symbol we use. A battery or a combination of cells, three cells, combination of three cells has been shown here. Shown. Plug key or switch, which is open. This is open switch. This is closed switch. See the difference. A wire joint. See, here I need to connect the second wire to this wire. So then the joint will come here. This is the symbol. So actually in the previous diagram, that is circuit diagrams, this is actually a joint. So because to this wire, I'm connecting one more wire, that is joint. Fine. Next, if you don't want to connect this wire, but you are taking this wire, crossing this wire, either below or above this wire. So without joining, we are taking simply that wire, either below or above. That is represented by this symbol. Then electric bulb, you know already. A resistor of resistance R. Actually, this is a new component for you people. But in the next, okay, within few minutes, you are going to learn what is the resistance and the symbol of this resistance. Even why the okay path is taken in the zigzag manner, it has a meaning. Okay, we'll come to know this little later. Then variable resistance or rheostat. There is a slight difference between these two. This value of this resistor is fixed. Okay, it cannot change. Say for example, the resistance of this is 50 ohms. Ohm is the SI unit of resistance. We use ohm as a SI unit. If its resistance is 50 ohm, you cannot change. It's over. But this rheostat, in rheostat, the resistance value can be changed, can be varied from minimum to maximum, maximum to minimum. How can we change the resistance value? See, here we have the image of this rheostat. See, this is a wire which has a resistance, say 500 ohm resistance it has. At this end, the resistance is 0. As we go from this end A, terminal A to terminal B, resistance goes on, increases to 500. There is a contact maker, a sliding contact. This is sliding contact. I can move this sliding contact from one terminal to another terminal. So if I move it gradually to the other terminal, resistance increases. So depending on the situation, suppose I want 10 ohms of resistance for our experiment. I can move it and I can control. If I want 20 ohm, I can move it further. So according to the requirement of resistance, I can use this variable resistor. It is also called rheostat. So fine. Ammeter, you know already what is ammeter, how it is connected. Voltmeter also. Okay. Next concept is Ohm's law. My dear students, so far we have acquired sufficient knowledge about electric current and potential difference. In this, under this Ohm's law, we are going to study, is there any relationship between electric current and potential difference? These two quantities are related to each other or not? So you can easily guess they have relationship. They are related to one another. So if they have a relationship, what kind of relationship it is? How they are related? You know, in physics, there are two types of relationship. one quantity is directly proportional to another quantity, or one quantity is inversely proportional to another. So there are two types of relationships. So the relationship between the current and potential difference is first studied by George Simon Ohm. He is from German physicist. He did series of experiments between to establish the relationship between electric current and potential difference. Okay, before uh, I state what is the Ohm's law, we'll take an experiment or activity, and we'll establish the relationship between electric current and potential difference. So this is very important experiment or activity for the point of exam, because most repeated question it is. The question may come like this: build an experiment to study the relationship between electric current and potential difference. Or the same question can be asked in another way: design an experiment to establish a relationship between electric current and potential difference. Or one more way of asking the same question: design an experiment to verify Ohm's law. There are three ways of asking the same question. Fine. First, we are going to build the experiment. We are going to build the activity systematically, step by step, in 4 different steps. What is the first step? Set up a circuit as shown in the figure 12.2. See, here we have a circuit. You can see the components required to build this circuit. What is required is 4 cells. Here 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 cells are required. Same potential difference. Say 1.5 volt each. So all the 4 cells are having potential difference 1.5 volt. Then what else is there? What else is connected in the circuit? A resistance. It's actually a nichrome wire. You know nichrome wire. So which we use in immersion coils. That is water heater. This water heater normally made out of nichrome. What is nichrome? Nichrome is an alloy. Alloy means it's a mixture of two or more than two metals. So this nichrome is made out of 4 metals: nickel, chromium, manganese and iron. 4 metals are combined in different ratio, proportion, and we have made this nichrome wire. And I'm using the nichrome wire. Its length is 0.5 meter, half meter. So the symbol of the nichrome wire, so it's because it has a resistance, sufficient amount of resistance. So it's connected between the terminals X and Y. See, voltmeter, as I told you already, is connected parallel to the resistance, that is a nichrome wire, because I want to measure the potential difference across these 2 points, means at the ends of this conductor. This is the conductor. Nichrome wire is the conductor. At the ends, both the ends of the nichrome wire. Because in this experiment, what is our intention or motto? Our intention is to study the relationship between potential difference and current. So we are going to measure current through this nichrome wire using ammeter, and also the potential difference across the ends of the nichrome wire. We are going to study 4 different trials. In 4 different trials, finally we conclude something. So ammeter is connected in series, plug key is connected in series. Fine. So don't get confused at this part of the circuit. There are dotted lines connecting the battery. So I will explain you what is this, why these dotted lines are given here. Fine, we'll come back to the first step. Set up a circuit as shown in the figure. I hope all of you have understood the circuit, how to build the circuit. Consisting of a nichrome wire XY of length 0.5 meter, an ammeter, a voltmeter, and 4 cells of 1.5 volt each. So nichrome is an alloy. I've already explained. Nickel is made out of nickel, chromium, manganese, and iron metals. Okay, second step. First, use only one cell as the source in the circuit. So we have to connect only one cell first, because gradually I am increasing the number of cells in 4 different trials steps. I am increasing the voltage, and I will study the current, whether current is going to increase according to the voltage. When I increase the voltage by connecting second cell, third cell, fourth cell, is the current also going to increase accordingly at the same rate or not? That is what we are going to learn through this experiment, through this activity. Fine. For that, I need to connect only one cell in the beginning. So, okay, one cell is connected. Fine. Note the reading in the ammeter I for the current and reading of the voltmeter V for the potential difference across the nichrome wire XY in the circuit. Tabulate them in the table given. Listen here. So we connect the first cell here. So think there is no, okay, there is, these 3 cells are not connected. Fine. So now if you switch on, so when you are doing connections, the switch or plug key should be open. So after the connection is over, so you have to switch on. Now current starts flowing from, okay, of course, electrons start flowing from this end. Current is from positive to negative. Fine, that arrow mark is shown. What you are supposed to do now? You have to read the voltmeter as well as ammeter readings, both the readings. And here we have a tabular column. A tabular column is the part of the answer. Okay, you're supposed to draw the circuit and then tabular column, and you need not to enter any readings here. Okay, fine. So when you are doing experiment in the lab, so this is one of the experiment, okay, in the syllabus it is there. You are going to do this experiment. So when you are doing this experiment in the lab, you have to record the voltmeter and ammeter readings in the tabular column. That is, serial numbers are there in the first column, number of cells connected are used in the circuit. So when one cell is connected, 2 cells, 3 and 4. Current through the nichrome wire. How much current is flowing through the nichrome wire? That is ammeter reading. You are going to note down here. And potential difference across the nichrome wire. That is voltmeter reading. You are going to note down here. Fine. Next, what? Next, connect 2 cells in the circuit and note the respective readings of the ammeter and voltmeter for the values of current through the nichrome wire. Potential difference across the nichrome wire. Means this time we are going to connect 2 cells. See, what is the potential difference in the circuit now? See, when one cell is connected in the first case, it is 1.5 volt. That is the potential difference. Now 2 cells are connected. What is the potential difference? 1.5 plus 1.5, it is 3 volt now. So means I am increasing the potential difference from first trial to second trial, second step. I'm increasing the potential difference. Again, I'm going to read the voltmeter and ammeter reading. Voltmeter will give us the potential difference. Ammeter will give us the current. So second step. Third step. Repeat the above steps using 3 cells and then 4 cells in the circuit separately. So then you connect the third cell, do the same thing. So take the voltmeter and ammeter reading, note it down in the tabular column, record it. Then connect the last cell, fourth cell, record the voltmeter and ammeter readings. So that completes your observation part. Then calculation part is there, the last column. So you got some values here, voltage and current value here. Then divide the voltage value by current value, potential difference value by current value, all the 4 values. So what you are going to get here is the ratio. This is called ratio. V by I is a ratio because we are dividing potential difference by current. It's a ratio. We are going to get the same ratio. Suppose you are getting say 2 for the first ratio, so second, third, fourth will get the same ratio. I'll take one example. Yeah. See, this is 5 set of readings taken in one of the experiment. So these are the voltage readings, potential difference, current readings, and this is the ratio, V by I ratio. That is this value divided by this value. 2.5 divided by 0.1. It is actually 2.5. 2.5 by 0.1 is 25. Next 5 divided by 0.2. That is 25 again. Like this, you take the ratio of V by I, you will get the same value. If you are getting the different values in the ratio, that means your experiment went wrong somewhere else. That is, somewhere you went wrong. Your experiment is not correct. So should get the same ratio. Fine. What this same ratio indicates, what is that? What is the message it gives? Means the voltage and current are increasing at the same rate. See, it is 2.5. This is 0.1. Now we doubled the voltage by connecting 2 cells. The current also increased. Okay, at the same rate, that is doubles, current doubled. So now potential difference increased 3 times by connecting the third cell, current also increased, doubled. So as we are increasing the potential difference by connecting more number of cells, current also increases at the same rate. Means they are directly proportional to one another. So V is directly proportional to I. So that is the conclusion of this experiment. This is the conclusion. So potential difference and electric current are increasing at the same rate. If I increase the potential difference, even current also increases accordingly at the same rate. So that is the conclusion of this experiment. Okay, if I plot the potential difference value versus current value. So this is not a new thing for you. So last year, in the first lesson, we have plotted, okay, VT graph and DT graph by taking velocity or distance along y-axis, time along x-axis. For uniform motion, we always get a straight line. Uniform motion means Object covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. Means as the time increases, the distance also increases at the same rate. Here I'm increasing the potential difference by equal amounts. The current also increases by equal amounts. So therefore I am getting a straight line. If you increase the potential difference by equal amounts, if current is not going to increase at the same rate, either you will get the curved line like this or like this. So when current is also increases by the equal amounts, the graph that you are going to get is a straight line. So I'll take one example here. The graph, yeah. All of you can see this values, current values and potential difference values. Potential difference 2 volts first, then I doubled 4 volts, 8 volts, 10 volts, 12 volts. As I'm increasing the potential difference, the current also increases. So current depends on potential difference. So if there is no potential difference, no current. So when I increase the potential difference by equal amounts, current also increasing the same rate, 0.5, 1, 2, 2.5. Because see here 4 to 8, there is a 4 volts of increase. The voltage is increased by 4 volts here. From 2 to 4, it is only 2 volts. 8 to 10, again only 2 volts. So therefore this sudden shift here. Okay, so you know the steps of drawing a plotting graph. First you have to choose appropriate scale. So if you take these values and start plotting, these are the points you are going to get. Students, I will send these slides to you. You can see, okay? See this graph and verify it afterwards. So finally we'll get a straight line like this. So fine. Next we'll come to the summary. See, this question is of 3 marks. 4 points you're supposed to write. Then a circuit diagram, neat, properly labeled circuit diagram. Then a tabular column. You need not to enter any values here. And a graph. Okay, fine. Next. So these are simply how to connect the first cell, second cell and third cell. So first cell is connected here, second, 2 cells are connected, 3 cells are connected. When you are doing experiment in the lab, so we follow this circuit diagrams. Okay, next. Fine. So George Simon Ohm is a German physicist in 1827, did a series of experiments by using, like we have connected a nichrome wire in our circuit. He connected wires of different materials, say copper wire, aluminum wire, nichrome wire, silver. By connecting different wires made out of different metals, he studied the relationship between the current and voltage. Each time he got the same answer, the same relationship, that is the potential difference is directly proportional to the current. As we increase the potential difference, current also increases by equal amount, same amount. So from all these experiments, finally he concluded, and that is Ohm's law. That is Ohm's law. We'll state what is Ohm's. Ohm's law states that the potential difference means always we measure across the ends of the conductor, means across the ends of a given metallic wire. Metallic wire is nothing but a conductor. Here in our experiment, it is a nichrome wire. in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. Okay. Finally, we have established a relationship between potential difference and current. They are directly proportional. And here something is given, provided its temperature remains same. This is most important. Why this condition of temperature here? Because when you do this experiment in a fixed temperature, room temperature, then this law is true, is valid. This law is valid, applicable only when the temperature remains same. Okay. Suppose we increase the temperature gradually. So nichrome wire, as we pass electric current through the nichrome wire, after few minutes, after 5 minutes, the nichrome wire, because of more resistance inside, the heat is going to develop inside the nichrome wire. Then temperature increases. So when temperature increases, this relationship is not true. That is, V is not going to proportional, directly proportional to I. So you will find little bit variations. So therefore, provided its temperature remains the same, what happens when temperature increases? So inside the conductor, you can see the conductor here. So conductor. So the electron, because of more temperature, so more energy, it undergoes more number of collisions inside. More number of collisions. Then the current value decreases. Even you are increasing the potential difference, the current value decreases. So because electron is not flowing with the required speed, because it is undergoing more number of collisions, its flow is restricted, opposed, because of more heat. So you know, we have already studied in chemistry, as the temperature increases, the kinetic energy of the atoms inside increases. So when kinetic energy increases, so the number of collisions also increases. So though you have increased potential difference, the current is not same. The current is not going to increase at the same rate. Therefore, temperature should remain same. This is the condition. I have seen uh, the students, when they are asked to state the Ohm's law, they will write only this much till this point. They neglect to write this. So this is a part of the law. So you supposed to write this, provided its temperature remains same. This is called Ohm's law. In equation form, this Ohm's law can be written as V directly proportional to I. Potential difference is proportional to current. Okay, now this is not equal sign, this is just a proportionality sign. So they're not equal now. There is a difference. Now I have to make them equal. Both the quantities equal. LHS should be equal to RHS. So by introducing another constant, that is R, I'm introducing a constant of proportionality R to equate LHS side and RHS side. So these are the two quantities. If you add little bit, okay, some quantity here, both gets equal. So V is equal to I into R. This is an expression for Ohm's law. Okay. V is equal to I into R. Again, there are three physical quantities: potential difference, electric current, and resistance, where R is the resistance. Fine. V is the voltage in volts. V in this equation is the voltage or potential difference. Its SI unit is volts. R here. Okay, I have taken R, that is a resistance. Its SI unit is ohm. Again, ohm is the name of the physicist, George Simon Ohm. Next, I is the current in ampere. So I is the current in ampere. Fine. Now let us define what is resistance. See, resistance is a property of conductor to resist flow of charge through it. Every conductor, that is a copper wire, aluminum wire, or silver, okay, iron, you take any metals or any alloys, they have certain amount of opposition to the flow of electrons. When electrons are flowing through this conductor, so electrons are going to attract towards the atoms because electron is carrying negative charge. The atoms are carrying positive charge at the nucleus of the atom. Nucleus are carrying positive charge. These negative charges are attracted towards the atoms. It is attracting towards this atom, again this atom, this like this. There are four collisions when electron is traveling through this conductor. So it is experiencing the obstruction, the resistance, opposition. Okay. So when you are traveling, when you are riding a bike on a kacha road, again on the nice road, that is highway, national highway, there is a difference. On the kacha road, see, this conductor is like a kacha road. So this electron, you are riding a bike. So because of the road pits, that is a path holes, maybe path holes, humps, road humps, or signals, or curves. So these are okay more on the kacha road. So because of these hurdles, the electron is undergoing more number of collisions like this. It means for the flow of this electron, the resistance is more, opposition is more. This opposition is called resistance. Okay, you take any metal, any alloys, there is an opposition. Okay, no metal allow the electron to flow through it without causing any obstruction. Take any metal, there is an obstruction, but the amount of obstruction or resistance to the flow of electron varies from metal to metal, or again metal to alloys, alloys to insulators. Metals are good conductors. Metals are good conductors of electricity. They offer very less obstruction, less resistance to the flow of electrons. See, this is metal. Okay, very less number of collisions, less resistance, less obstruction to the flow of electrons. So when you take alloys like nichrome wire, so alloys have more resistance, more obstruction, more opposition to the flow of electrons through it. So the flow of electron through this alloy is not easy. Okay, so here there are 12 collisions. Here there are only 4 collisions, almost 3 times more resistance. 3 times more resistance this alloy is exerting, offering on the electron. So resistance is what? Resistance is a property of a conductor, whether it is a metal or alloys or insulators. So it is a intrinsic property now. So every metal has opposition to the flow of electrons. Property of a conductor to resist means oppose the flow of charge. Charge means electron through it. So this is the definition of resistance. It is denoted by R and its SI unit is ohm. This is the symbol, okay, of ohm. You can write either in words or in using symbol. This is the, okay, next. Ohm's law equation, I is equal to V by R. So V is equal to IR. Actually, we have written V is equal to IR. If you rearrange for current, it becomes I is equal to V by R. Denotes the current is inversely proportional to resistance. See this equation, I is inversely proportional to resistance because it is in the denominator. So if resistance is more, current is less. See, resistance is more, current is less. So more number of collisions, more resistance. So current, that is a rate of flow of charge, is less. Electron cannot go faster. So current is less. That is what. So if resistance is less, current is more. When you are riding your bicycle on the highway, national highway, so the number of signals are less, curves are less. The road pitch, that is the path walls are less. You can go with maximum speed. That is current is maximum when the resistance is less. Hence, greater the resistance, lesser will be the flow of current and vice versa. Fine. These are the three different equations for V when you are asked to find V. So the equation is V is equal to IR when current value and resistance value is given. Then if you are given the potential difference and resistance and you are asked to find the current, this is the equation. This is the equation. And if you are asked to find the resistance by giving potential difference and current, use this equation. Okay, we'll take one numerical. If the resistance of an electric iron is 50 ohm, so in the electric iron there is a filament inside, nichrome filament, sometimes is made out of nichrome also. So that has a resistance of 50 ohm and 3.2 ampere current flows through the resistance. The current flowing through it is 3.2 ampere. You are given the resistance value and current value. What we supposed to find is voltage between the 2 points. Okay, write down. Write the equation. Voltage is equal to electric current into resistance. Substitute the values and simplify. We'll get 160 volts. Next, an EMF source of 8 volt. EMF means electromotive force. So electromotive force is produced in the cell or battery. Okay. EMF also we measure in voltage only. An EMF source of 8 volts is connected. Electromotive force, actually it's a force we measure in newtons. Okay. So an EMF source of 8.0 volt is connected to a purely resistive electrical appliance, a light bulb, an electric current of 2.0 ampere. So again you are given the potential difference and electric current. Consider the conducting wires to be resistance free. Calculate the resistance offered by the electrical appliance. So conducting wires are also offering resistance, but you consider in this situation, you just consider the resistance is 0 because here we have connected the bulb. In the bulb there is a filament. That filament is offering more resistance compared to the conducting wires, that is connecting wires. To connect the components we use a wire, no, that is called connecting wire. That connecting wire also offers a little resistance. As I told already, every conductor has certain amount of resistance, but in this case you just ignore that resistance. You just consider the resistance of the filament of the bulb. Okay, write down. Voltage is given, current is given. What is the equation? R is equal to V divided by I. V divided by I. So voltage is 8 volts. Current is 2 ampere. 8 by 2 is 4 ohm. Okay. So we'll end this class at this point. Students will have a quick recall of what we have learned so far. So first we learned about the voltmeter. Voltmeter is a device we use to measure the potential difference between the 2 points. And how we are going to connect this voltmeter? We connect this voltmeter in parallel across the points between which the potential difference is going to measure. Next, the symbols of commonly used electrical components. Commonly used electrical components. Okay, different components and their symbols. Next, that is Ohm's law. That is an important experiment. That is the most repeated question for the point of the exam. We studied here 4 steps you need to explain, then circuit diagram and the tabular column and graph. Next, we have a set of readings here. So, and we'll get the V by I, that is a resistance value. So resistance value is coming same. It must come same. Okay. Next, the statement of Ohm's law. It's most important. So by heart this statement, first you understand, then you practice it. Then mathematical expression for Ohm's law. So V is equal to IR, where R is the resistance. So what is resistance? It is a property of conductor to resist the flow of electric current through it, or charges through it, or electrons through it. So denoted by R, capital R. Its SI unit is ohm. Then the resistance remains same for all the materials? No. For good conductors, the resistance is less. So because the number of collisions, the electron with the atoms is less, so resistance is also less. Good conductors offer less resistance to the flow of electron or electric current. So if resistance is greater, the number of collisions are greater, therefore resistance is greater, then the current decreases. The flow of current or electrons through it decreases. So that's why current is inversely proportional to resistance. If resistance is more, current is less. If resistance is less, current is more. They are inversely proportional to each other. Then to solve the problems on Ohm's law, there are 3 different types. You may give the values of I and R and you are asked to find the potential difference. Or you may give the values of V and R, you may ask to find the current. And by giving V and I values, you may ask to find the resistance. And here are the numericals. Okay, students, I hope it's clear for all of you. If you have any doubts and queries, you can mail. So I'll try to answer to your questions. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.